Hey everyone, my name's Justin, and welcome to the sixth and final week of the Alter Bridge universe, where I'm reviewing every full-length album recorded by a member of Alter Bridge. There are only 5 days left until the release of Pawns and Kings, but in the meantime, let's get started today with Alter Bridge's most recent album, Walk the Sky. This is yet another divisive record in the Alter Bridge catalog, as some love it, others hate it, and many more fall somewhere in between. Quite frankly, I can rarely decide where I land on this spectrum, but I know for sure that I don't hate the record. This record has a lot of pros and cons, and its composition is a notable departure from anything the band has produced thus far. However, as I've always said, a bad record by Alter Bridge is still often better than most modern rock albums. This group is competing on a completely different level than everyone else, so keep that in mind as I move forward with this review. If you weren't a fan of the mixing on The Last Hero, there's a good chance that you're also going to dislike Walk the Sky. Though this record is not as musically intense as its predecessor, the mixing is similar with Elvis Basket's Wall of Sound. I won't get on my production soapbox again in this video, but I will say that I find this record a little easier to listen to front to back. Part of this is because the mixing is more forgiving, but also the record is shorter and not as loud and dominating as The Last Hero. It's still not as laser precise and gritty as Fortress or AB3, but Walk the Sky is a step back towards what I consider to be Elvis's best work. Now, moving on to this album's composition, when I heard the band was incorporating synthwave elements into the songs, I was pretty skeptical. I've never been a huge fan of electronic music, and at the time, I was becoming disillusioned with the whole idea. One of my favorite bands at the time, Smash Into Pieces, was doubling down on electronica and kind of abandoning their rock side, and I hated the direction they were going. So I was a little worried that Alter Bridge was headed down the same path. Suffice to say, they did not go the same route, and while the use of synthwave on this record is not my favorite choice they've ever made, it is tastefully done. There's no shortage of distorted guitar riffs and metal belts to accompany the synths, but therein actually lies my biggest issue with this record. The album just lacks conviction. Take the songs Wouldn't You Rather, Indoctrination, Godspeed, and Tear Us Apart. These songs represent a wide variety of styles on this record, but each song feels like it's missing something. The guitar parts are alright, but certainly not Alter Bridge's best work. Scott's drums sound big and powerful, but they're lacking energy and determination, and that kind of sucks the life out of these songs. The first and last songs I mentioned definitely could have benefited from upping the tempo a few clicks. They just feel sluggish and passive, and everything great about each song suffers as a result. Try this. Find Wouldn't You Rather or Tear Us Apart on YouTube, and set the playback speed to 1.05 or 1.1 times speed. The difference it makes is massive, even when you factor in YouTube's heavy compression. Now, it would be remiss of me to end this review without discussing this record's strengths. Walk the Sky has many good songs with good parts and lyrics, like the sort of title track Walking in the Sky, Native Son, The Bitter End, and Clear Horizon, to name a few. This record is a fresh take on Alter Bridge's style, and Myles' voice is as good as it's ever been. Just like with the instrumentals, sometimes his vocals and lyrics are a little passive compared to previous records, but I'm still impressed with everything that he brings to the table. He's in his early 50s now, and his voice is as good, if not better, than it was 15 years ago. How many rock vocalists can say that? Simply by process of elimination, Walk the Sky is my least favorite Alter Bridge album, but it still makes a regular appearance in my listening queue. I find it's easier to listen to it in the background than other records since it's not as intense or demanding as, say, The Last Hero or Fortress. Of course, this all may change with Pawns and Kings, as I may become obsessed with that album and let others fade to the background. However, we won't know for certain until this Friday, so for a final score, I'm giving Walk the Sky by Alter Bridge 8.5 out of 10. Let me know your favorite songs from Walk the Sky in the comments below. Tomorrow, we'll be looking at Myles Kennedy's second solo album, The Ides of March. But until then, check out this playlist with every episode of the Alter Bridge universe. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow.